Okay, so you talk about monetizing what you did on YouTube.
Yeah.
What are the revenue streams of doing songs on YouTube?
This is a fascinating answer because a lot of people don't know this. That's probably why we're having the conversation.
Right, that's why we're having the conversation.
Landon and I had a conversation the other day about people are like, oh, you're a cover artist.
Right.
And I'm like, if you only knew.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so maybe we can talk about that.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
So for me, and tell me if it's similar to you. So basically right now, the main leading revenue source is not even YouTube, it's a Spotify revenue.
Right.
Which is digital streaming.
Right.
And it's because my catalog is over 350 songs of my own stuff, people I've worked with in the past, collabs.
Right.
And so every day, some of those songs get discovered by brand new people, and that ends up collecting and collecting and growing and growing, and all of a sudden you get paid every month.
Right.
So Spotify, iTunes still,
yeah,
from like digital sales. So people who don't have Spotify and they still download music, like
grandparents,
like grandparents, yeah, that kind of stuff. I mean, that's a little bit chunk of it. Ad revenue from YouTube, because I can monetize those now. Yeah. So here's another stream which a lot of people don't know, and Landon actually has this. He's one of the few YouTubers that has this. Mm-hmm. What's it called?
Content ID.
The Content ID. So we go in and we upload what we basically own, and it puts it out in the YouTube space. And whoever uploads a video with that piece of content, whether I think it's like a 15 seconds or more, will claim it, and you'll get revenue from their video. So it's like you have people who are using your music, people who are using your covers. Then another stream, which is insane, is TV film. So I'll get hit up sometime here and there, and it's like, hey, we're going to use your song in Grey's Anatomy. I'm like, okay. So they use 2, and those are big checks.
Yeah, because you own the master.
You own the master.
So you get paid on that.
And the songwriter also gets paid as well.
Yeah, the publishing.
Yeah. So, and then the other form of revenue, which is bizarre, is satellite radio.
Yeah, that's another one.
So I'll have a song on like an acoustic cafe, randomly, from like 2 years ago. And all of a sudden I'll see this random check, and I'm like, where'd that come from?
I know.
Yeah.
It blew my mind the first time I got a sound exchange check for one of these covers, because I'm like, Sirius is playing my music? I didn't even know they were playing it. And I was like, this is unreal. And it's like a 5-year-old song.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, like 5, 6, 7, and then it continues on more and more and more. It's like,
right.
And then you have, so iTunes streaming, so that, what is it, Apple Music?
Apple Music,
Spotify, iTunes.
All the DSPs, like all like Google Play, all those stores can do that. Like also you can do like merch, touring, you can push to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The merch and touring thing is cool. That's also something I stayed away from, because it's like, unless you're really ready to do it for the love of the game.
Right, right.
Like touring doesn't make sense.
Right.
Unless you have a smash hit.
Right.
And you're getting huge guarantees.
Right. Or if you want to be on the road.
If you want to be on the road and just, and you're with people you love and you want to do the whole thing, but.
Right.
Touring for the love of touring is like, that's not a thing anymore.
No, and it's expensive. Like if you don't have guarantees and stuff, you can lose money on that.
Yeah.
And that can be brutal. But like I don't do merch anymore. Like I don't have a merch sign I'm proud of right now. So I don't do that. But
did you ever have any merch?
I did.
Yeah.
I like that old stuff. Those Landon Austin tees represent.
Do you ever wear them?
I don't wear my own. You know who does? My mom. That's like I go to Dallas and we'll go out to dinner and she'll like wear my shirt. And I'm like, oh, Mom.
So I found tank tops that I sold in 2015 on tour for females. And I realized the largest fit me.
Yeah.
So I started wearing them to work out. And then when I'm just kind of like, oh, I'm going to work throughout the day, I'll find myself wearing my own merch.
Oh my gosh. I've seen you. I like your merch though.
Yeah.
You're going to hook me with
Do you want a tee?
Yeah, give me a award shirt.
Okay.
I'd like. So a lot of the income from what we do, it's passive income, so you do the work once and then it generates royalties.
Which is amazing.
It can be amazing because it gives you a lot of freedom. If you have a good back catalog, you can take a week off, you can take a month off, whatever. So you can have some free time if you choose to use that. What do you supplement your music income with? Do you do things outside of that? Is there opportunities that you like, or?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah, so I thought about it.
Landon and I actually got together, and he does this on the side, and I do this on the side, so I have my own properties. Basically, buy a couple properties, rent them out, and see passive income that way.
Right.
Because using the money that's coming from Spotify to purchase property, because it's real estate, it's brick and mortar, it's like a tangible asset.
It's a good way to diversify.
We love diversification.
Right.
And then Landon and I also do, the stock market.
Yeah. He got me into Bitcoin, lost a ton of money. Great advice.
I pulled out, sold it 17K.
He's like, bro, you gotta get into Bitcoin. Now's the time.
I did. I still feel scared of you, but I like the space.
Don't be scared, bro. So, like, I like to diversify my eggs because I don't want to put it all in the music basket. You can put a lot of your career and work into creating music, and it can generate revenue. So I like to do things like real estate investing, like you do as well. Yeah. I find that to be wise. But like, talk about do we want to talk about the catalog stuff?
I do. I think it's cool.
So tell them a little bit about the catalog stuff.
Oh, Marty.
He's such a lover.
Oh, It's weird. I don't allow dogs to lick me, but I kind of like it.
I don't let anything lick me.
Do you not like this?
I mean, I like that in small doses.
Okay.
I just tell her that.
You don't like to let it in. Let's go with the catalog thing. So basically, 2 years ago, I was approached by someone who wanted to purchase my catalog. A catalog is basically all the songs that I've done, probably from 2010 forward. Anything that's digitally available. And so basically, it was the collection of 350 to 400 different songs. You good?
We're good.
400 different songs, and they were like, hey, there's this company, and I'm still confused on what the company is, but they offered a lump sum to purchase my ownership in the digital streaming. So they basically wanted to purchase, so I'm gonna let Landon explain because he gets to the point, he's really good at this. Ready, go Landon.
You have hundreds of songs on Spotify.
Yes.
They want to buy those songs so that all the revenue that's generated from them goes to them for forever instead of you.
Yeah.
So they'll pay you a lump sum, so you leave, they take your songs, and they keep the money in the future.
Yeah, and the cool thing about that is, though, when I initially thought about it, I was like, I'm getting paid out for something I've already been paid out for.
Right.
And so I'm like, I'm double dipping.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing thing. It's almost like getting a record deal after the record released.
Exactly.
And the amount they offered when it came back, I was like, yo, is this real?
Yeah.
Like life-changing money.
Right.
And I was like, I have to do this.
Yeah.
So the good thing is it takes a long time to actually get the ball rolling.
Right.
And it allowed me 9 months to process the whole thing.
Right.
And to go back and study my own catalog. This is one thing that I needed to do. You need
Right.
to educate yourself basically on where your money's coming from.
Exactly.
And so I educated myself and I realized I made up 11% of what they were offering me in that 9-month period.
Yep.
And if things keep going the way they're going, the question came down to this: am I going to continue to do music, or am I going to stop doing music?
Right.
Because if I was going to stop doing music, basically have a family and go be a school teacher,
Right.
I would have sold the catalog because it would have made sense.
Right.
So basically, when they approached me, I said no. Then they came back with even more.
Right.
And I was like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I don't basically have to work ever again in my life.
Right.
I mean, you're...
So here's the thing about that. So they offer you like a 5 or 6x multiple of what it's made in the past, correct?
Right.
So that means in about 5 or 6 years, they expect to break even if all goes well.
Yes.
So my concern with that is, what about 10 years from now? What about if you live another 40, 50 years, what about those years?
Right.
That's what's hard. It's like, yeah, it'd be nice to get a lump sum today. Man, 20 years from now, I'm gonna be like, that's kind of painful to see those.
And people work really, really hard to have passive income.
Yeah.
And so we already have this generated, and anybody who's going to start and sell these things are going to have a form of passive income, whether it's 1 cent or $300 a month from one piece of content. But if you own it, you get that revenue.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, at least they gave me 9 months to think about it because it took 9 months to get all the paperwork in order and for me to actually go through.
And what about the legal fees, though?
You can talk about legal fees.
Gosh, that's not cheap.
No.
No, so I was offered a similar situation, and I'm kind of in the middle of it right now. I don't know what I'm going to do. But just to have an attorney go through it all, they're billing you $3.75 an hour. It's going to take so many hours, and you don't even know if you're going to do the deal. It's just such a hard, it's a hard situation. It's not a bad place to be in, but it's difficult still.
So my lesson in this whole thing was, what would you say? I would say, I'm not going to say the number. So it was like 6 figures for me to learn the lesson. Not 6 figures, I'm so sorry. 5 figures.
5 figures.
Because 6 figures is 100.
Yeah. You didn't pay an attorney $100,000.
No, that'd be wrong.
That'd be.
But it was, it was 5 figures to pay my attorney to make sure he got everything squared away. And he did a great job. We were ready to pull the trigger. And it came to it, and I was like, I believe in my future stuff so much that if one of those songs hits, then this entire catalog grows. And I'm not seeing the benefit.
Right.
So I go back to the very beginning, and it's like the #1 thing I think you should invest in, regardless, is yourself.
Right.
And your talents and your abilities.
Yep.
And so I'm like, I'm gonna fall back, default on that. 2 years from now, things change. I don't know. Then I might consider calling them up and be like, hey, is that offer still? And if it's not on the table, I feel like still I can sleep at night because I did the right thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's crazy. I told so many people what I denied. They were like, you're insane. I'm like, but you don't get it. Because you don't understand the complexities.
No, actually the reason you and I really met was in Nashville because I was offered the same kind of deal and I wanted to get your advice on it.
Yeah.
And when you told me what you turned down, I was like,
yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So, and now I'm in the process of like potentially turning that down. It's like, it's just hard to think 10, 15 years from now, what's that stuff going to be making? You don't know.
You know?
Tomorrow it could all die and go away, which I don't think because people are going to listen to music forever. I think the biggest lesson for me through all of this for you and your catalog and my own is it validates what we've done and the value of what it is. And like you told me last time we talked about it, it kind of put a price on what your business is worth.
Yeah,
which is so unique. It's interesting because people on the outside would never guess that. What would you say to younger Tyler 10 years ago starting out? that you know now about your business? Not about your personal life, but about your business.
So if I could see in the future,
so
or could I not tell him?
Knowing what you know now, what would you tell old or younger Tyler?
Younger Tyler. I would say stay consistent. Because if he can't see the future,
right?
I would say stay consistent and keep your quality, and don't worry about the finances.
Okay,
that's what I'd say.
Yeah,
and I'd say trust me, 10-year-older Tyler. Like trust me, you'll be so good.
So what would you?
No. Let's reverse it.
What would I tell younger Landon when I'm starting out?
What would you even tell Landon even 5 years ago though? Or because when did you really start like feel like, wow, this is working?
So the hardest part of this whole process for me was when I started music. I was touring, I was playing shows, doing a lot of traditional stuff, and doing well in that space, playing college shows. And then I got into the YouTube game after watching people like you and Goot, and I started that because I didn't want to sell insurance. I didn't want to be a valet. I didn't want to do these jobs I hated, and I knew people like you were making a living. Yeah. So initially I jumped into that, but I had no expertise in production or mixing or anything when it came to recording my music. I could play it, but I couldn't put a mic in front of myself and record it. So my biggest advice would be learn those things, invest in those things early on, because I've had to retroactively go back and learn how to produce. I'm learning how to mix right now. Like for the past 3 years, I'm hiring mixers, outsourcing that. But I have a hard time being proud of what I put out if I don't have my hand in everything, because I'm kind of a control freak in that sense. So now that I can produce,
which is another issue we could talk about in a different series.
That's a different video. I'm kind of a perfectionist, control freak, so I'm tired of putting out things that like someone else produced, and I'm like, that's not really what I want it to sound like, but I only get so many hours that they're billing me for. So I'm at the point now where I'm really investing in myself, like you said, and learning these things so that I can put out stuff for the rest of my life that I'm proud of, whether it be original music or covers or whatever, mashups. So early Landon, get going right now. Learn these things that aren't as fun or as exciting right now, because it's going to pay off in the long run. Hey guys, thanks for watching that. That's the end of part 2 of a 3-part series interview I did with Tyler. If you want to see the first or the last videos, click the links below, they'll be down there. And lastly, this series was brought to you by my company. It's called Noisely.com. And what we do is we license music for wedding videos, corporate videos. If you have a podcast that needs music or a website that has videos on it that need music, you can license it all there. We have an awesome roster of artists, independent and label acts, really top-notch music, so make sure you check them out. And lastly, if you want to be an artist on the site, you can go to Noisely.com, click contact, and submit your music there over email. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.